So hello Achiever, today I am with a new guest. He's Dr. David Gruder. He's well known as America's integrity expert, and we will deal with happiness, success, and a lot of things you will discover. He's very inspiring and he's with me in San Diego. So hello David.
Hello David, nice to be with you.
Me too. How are you today?
I'm happy.
Perfect. It's a good start.
Thank you. How are you today?
Oh, it's an awesome day. I met so inspiring people in so inspiring place. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I am reaching my goal.
That's perfect.
I let you to introduce yourself, and I will ask you about your background and your journey. But in one sentence, what do you do today?
Well, I'm a clinical and organizational development psychologist who has a very unusual area of specialization. I help leaders and businesses make integrity profitable.
Mm-hmm. Great. I would love to know, how did you become that?
Well, how long a story would you like to hear? The short version.
Yeah, the short version. And what is very important for me and what I would like to share to my audience is especially your struggles and how did you overcome it? Because a lot of people think, oh, the successful people have no fears, no struggles, a lot of luck. I don't have that, or I can't succeed. So yeah, your journey and especially your struggles.
Yes, well, I've had plenty of struggles over the course of my journey. And the way that integrity emerged as essentially a brand for me was that I've been someone who, through the course of my career, has always loved variety. And variety is very difficult to brand. So people who are branding experts would constantly scold me about saying you've got to specialize in just one thing and then get known broadly for that. And when I was younger, I really rebelled against that because my freedom was more important to me than branding was. And
it's very interesting because a lot of people are saying me that, the same thing. I have to focus in one thing.
Yeah. And so what I finally started to do, and it wasn't that terribly long ago in the course of my lifespan at least, it was about 13 or so years ago, I started asking the people around me what they thought I specialized in. And I was very surprised by the recurring answer that I got. There were, of course, people who, depending on what their exposure to me was, said, well, they thought I was a specialist in speaking or in psychology or in energy psychology or in relationships. There was a list of those kinds of things, but the common denominator was people would say to me, well, you know, it's silly that you're asking this question. You're a specialist in integrity. And I would look at them with kind of surprise, like I had never really thought about that. And the more I thought about the question of integrity, the more I came to realize that integrity was one of the themes that tied all of the various specialty areas that I have together. But what caused me to really embrace integrity publicly as being a specialist in that was when I had a very painful life experience that was about the ending of my first marriage, which I never honestly expected. And the process of my recovering from the profound emotional pain that I experienced as a result of the end of that marriage caused me to realize that even though other people viewed me as someone who had very high integrity, I was missing a very important aspect of integrity that I had never thought of as integrity. See, I had grown up in a family that valued societal integrity, social responsibility, and ethics and relationship integrity, doing what you say you're going to do. So my family's definition of integrity really revolved around that, around social responsibility and being a person of your word in relationships. What I didn't realize until I was looking closely at my contributions, my unintentional contributions to the end of my first marriage, was that there was a form of integrity that I never thought of as integrity.
Yourself.
Self-integrity. I was perfectly fine neglecting myself. And the more I neglected my own self-care, my own balance, my own heart, in service of my mission and of being of service and being helpful in the world, the more my capacity to love from here, from my heart, shut down and got narrowed. And the more I neglected my own self-care, the more tired and exhausted I became, which meant I became more irritable and more critical and more judgmental. And it was all because I didn't realize that integrity was three-dimensional, that it was 1/3 authenticity, 1/3 connection, and 1/3 impact. So as I was healing from the pain of my divorce, I realized that part of what I was being gifted with through that pain was an understanding of integrity that I had never ever heard about before, that integrity was actually three-dimensional.
It's great, yeah.
Not just one or two-dimensional. Because I've known people who have great integrity when it comes to their sense of mission around social change, but their relationships are horrible or their self-care is horrible. And I've known people who are very passionate about relationship with other people, but they're happy to give up themselves to be loved by others. And I know other people who are very strong in self-integrity and in authenticity, and they really don't care if other people have negative reactions to them, and they don't think that they really have much of responsibility for or ability to have positive impact in the broader world.
Yeah, it's great. And I have a question for you. Do you think the people like you and like each expert who have a gift to share, like you with integrity, do you think every expert will have the challenges, the experiences, the struggles to help him to find his message? And do you, my second question, I will let you, do you think you will maybe, during all your life, you will be faced to a challenge about integrity, to learn more and more, to help people? Do you understand what I would like to ask you?
Yeah. Well, there's no question that I've done some of my best learning when I've been in my deepest pain. You know, there's an old saying that I've never been able to find the source for. It's anonymous. It's mostly people change, not because they see the light, but because they feel the heat. And part of what I've been committed to more and more as I've grown older and older is learning how to be a happy learner rather than someone who needs to be in pain before I learn. But up until more recent years, I absolutely did my greatest amount of growing when I was in the deepest amount of pain. Yeah, so that's definitely true. As far as integrity goes, you know, when I felt like I was called to position myself finally as an integrity expert, part of me didn't want to do that because it was very clear to me that if I was going to say yes to that mission, I was going to have to be willing to embody integrity at such a high level that I was completely, my being and my actions were completely aligned with my message. And I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. I wasn't sure I wanted to hold myself to that highest standard. But being a recovering perfectionist, that kind of won over. And so I did ultimately say yes to that. And I've continued to learn more and more about not just integrity, but applied integrity, what integrity looks like as a set of skills and as a set of behaviors in people's personal lives and in business and among leadership. So I feel like I'm just beginning to get a full feel and picture for what applied integrity includes.
Mm. And what do you think? Do you think the kind of universe will test you every time to test maybe more than others your integrity?
No, I don't think so. I know so. Of course, whenever I have made any kind of commitment to anything, the universe responds to me. And I know I'm not alone this way, that I've heard other people say this too, but I'll just say it in a personal way. The universe responds to me by throwing experiences at me that essentially are as though the universe is saying to me, David, are you sure? Are you sure you really want to make this commitment, move in this direction? So yes, constantly there are challenges around that.
Great. It's very important for me to help people to listen to that. I would love to know what is IQ and how we can develop that.
Well, you know, we live in an age where there are more and more types of intelligence that people are talking about.
Emotional intelligence,
relationship intelligence, spiritual intelligence. And then there is the second IQ that's not intellectual intelligence, our intelligence quotient, but our integrity quotient, our integrity IQ. And that's the IQ that I focus on.
And do you think we can develop that? I'm sure, but...
Well, if we can't, there's no hope for me. Yes, of course we can.
And how we can do that?
Well, what's interesting to me is that it's not so much about developing it as it is about reclaiming it. Because for me, integrity intelligence is something that is wired into who we are as human beings.
From the birth.
From birth.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe more.
Yeah. Because what integrity is grounded in, you know what, and let me backtrack for a moment if I could, because I want to say something brief about how the dictionary defines integrity.
Yeah.
It defines integrity as a state of being whole and complete in relationship to some code of ethics or morals. But the problem with the definition is who defines what whole and complete is, and what set of morals and ethics are we talking about? So the dictionary definition is philosophically interesting, but it falls in a category that I refer to as true but not useful. However, in my study of sustainably happy people and how sustainably happy people, what they have in common with each other that's different from what people who aren't sustainably happy have in common with each other, I came to understand that all of us have three core drives that we're born with. The drive to be who we truly are, which is our drive for authenticity. The drive to bond with others, which is the drive for connection. And the drive to influence the world around us, which is our drive for impact. And the great breakthrough for me in understanding what sustainably happy people were telling me, because sustainably happy people don't select one of those forms of happiness over the other two. They live at the intersection of all three. So they report that they do feel like they are being who they truly are. They feel bonded with people who are important to them. And they feel like they have positive influence in whatever their chosen spheres of influence are. The breakthrough for me was that authenticity translates into self-integrity, connection translates into relationship integrity, and impact translates into collective or societal integrity. And when we have that definition of integrity intelligence, we have a way of understanding that it's not about developing our integrity intelligence, it's about reclaiming our birthright and understanding that it is not possible to separate or divorce integrity and happiness because they're one and the same.
So the happiness is a kind of consequence of a true integrity.
Happiness is a consequence of true integrity, and true integrity is a consequence of authentic, real, three-dimensional happiness.
Great. I love that. How? Yes, I have a question before this one. Why we have to reclaim that?
Well, for three basic reasons that are tied with these three core drives. I needed to reclaim my happiness because for the first 35 years of my life, I was absolutely certain that I was on this planet, in this life, as punishment. I had moments of feeling joy or happiness, but I didn't have sustainable happiness because I was convinced of something really self-defeating about myself. And it was not until I was 35 years old that I finally started to consider the possibility that maybe I was wrong that I was here as punishment. You see? So first and foremost, I owe happiness to myself because otherwise what I have to offer the world, I offer with such a sense of heaviness and intensity and self-importance that who would want to learn from me, right? So first of all, it's about being happy for me. The second reason is because people want to be in connection with people whose hearts they can touch. And for me, happiness doesn't mean being in a state of joy all of the time. For me, happiness means being in a state of connection and relationship with my full range of emotions, where they don't rule me, but they're actually teaching tools that are constantly helping me understand my relationship with myself and my relationship with the world around me. And so happiness is important for me in terms of relationships. And the other part of happiness for me is in order for me to fulfill my life purpose around social change, I can't do that well if I'm not being a light in the world. If you look at a figure like a Nelson Mandela or a Martin Luther King,
Gandhi,
or Gandhi when he was presenting to the public, these people are, and many others, Mother Teresa, looked very happy. Their own inner joy was infectious. That's not to say that each of these human beings didn't have their moments of suffering and misery. They all did. But they were able to tap into that wellspring of joy. And it was their sense of joy and their sense of purpose that inspired the world around them. And if they were heavy, unhappy, tormented souls, they wouldn't have drawn as many people to them as they did.
It's great. I love that, yeah. I have a question also about integrity. What do you think about, for example, you know a way to succeed, but you are not sure that it is maybe the good way. How to feel inside yourself, or what you have to do, because we are very good to lie to yourself. Oh, it's okay. How can we do to look at inside yourself, have this true integrity with yourself, and do the right actions, right about what is important for us.
What I find is that people who do live at the intersection of what's right for me, what's right for us, and what's right for the world can't help but do the right thing in each moment. It's people who, like I used to do much more than I do now, who only pay attention to one or two of the three dimensions of being a complete self, a whole and complete self. That though it's those people who struggle with what doing the right thing might look like. But I think you're asking two questions. I think you're asking about how do people identify what the right thing is to do, and the other is how do they have a framework for success.
Yeah.
I can say more about the doing the right thing if you'd like, but it's tied to my understanding of what success is.
Yeah, I would love to have your point of view.
Yeah. So we've talked about authenticity, connection, and impact as the three core drives that are connected to sustainable happiness and integrity intelligence, three-dimensional integrity. If you consider those three dimensions as though they're horizontal integrity, there's another level of integrity that I call vertical integrity as well. And the vertical integrity is where there is alignment among my values, my vision, my personal mission, my ultimate goals in life, and the choices I make about what I do with my life, in my career, in my service work, etc. And when there is a vertical alignment among all of those aspects of who I am, combined with my being a three-dimensional self, that to me is 2/3 of the success formula. Because people who are authentic, connected, and impactful, and have that alignment among their values, their vision, their mission, their goals, and their life choices. These are people who report to me that they feel successful in their lives, no matter what amount of money they make or don't make, no matter what position in life they fill or don't fill. They experience themselves to be successful. And the third part of the success formula, in addition to those three core drives, what I'm calling right now the horizontal integrity, and the vertical alignment, the vertical integrity, is persistent, skilled action. So when we have skilled persistence in pursuing and expressing that vertical alignment and being whole and complete as complete three-dimensional selves, that to me is the success formula. And the only thing that is missing in how I'm describing that success formula is that in order to be persistent in the skills that I use that are in service of my vertical integrity, I need to be clear about having a framework, a roadmap, strategies, and mentoring that helps me continually expand and that holds me accountable for living in alignment with what I say my values and vision and mission and goals and purposes in the world are, and helping me make sure that I am not neglecting one of my three aspects of a whole self.
Yeah.
That to me is the success formula. Horizontal integrity, vertical integrity, and persistent, mentored, skilled behavior.
Great, great. I love the way you present your ideas. It's great.
Merci. Thank you.
I would like to take an example. For example, imagine that someone who build a new restaurant. Is new, so nobody knows this restaurant, and they decided to, for example, to pay some people to. It's well known that when you enter a restaurant and if it's empty, you don't want to come. Okay, and if it's full, you want to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's a law of influence.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about the fact that he can pay people to build his first clients? Can we do that with integrity? Why I have to explain why I'm asking that. We are meeting a lot of different people. We are meeting people about persuasion, persuasion, negotiations,
Mm-hmm.
sales. And I believe a lot in the power of communication, in persuasions, but it's very hard for me in marketing also to know when I am lying to myself because I very want to succeed, and when I do the right things. Do you understand?
Yes.
And yeah, I take the example of the restaurant because it's not so bad to do that if the food is good, but yeah.
When I hire someone to design an advertisement that I want to print in a newspaper or magazine or show on television, I am paying someone to create a perception about me. If I'm hiring people to eat at my restaurant in order to create a perception, I'm hiring people to create a perception about me. So it has, for me, less to do with the behavior and more to do with the intention behind the behavior. You see, there are two forms of creating consent with the public. Consent meaning the public says yes to something.
Yeah.
Yes? And one way is through informed consent, and the other way is through manufactured consent. Manufactured consent is the prevailing strategy for social engineering. It was designed and given that term almost 100 years ago now by the father of modern public relations, actually, whose name was Edward Bernays. Bernays not spelled like the sauce, but spelled B-E-R-N-E-Y-S. And what Bernays did was he developed a set of strategies for manipulating the public, manipulating public opinion to support products, services, causes, or candidates, while thinking they were doing that out of their own free will, but where they had been propagandized or manipulated into providing that support. That's manufactured consent. That's creating yes in the mind of somebody that wouldn't have come to yes on their own. Informed consent, in the restaurant example, looks like this. The restaurant owner hires people to eat in the restaurant in order to draw people in to have an experience firsthand themselves of the food that's in that restaurant. And if what that person is providing, with what that restaurant owner is providing, is truly healthful, high-quality food prepared in a delicious way and served in an enjoyable atmosphere, then the only purpose that hiring people to eat in the restaurant would have served is the purpose of helping the public discover that there's something they were looking for in the first place in this restaurant when they might not have chosen to come in otherwise. That's informed consent, because all people needed was an opportunity to find that what they were looking for was here in this restaurant. Now, contrast that with what, let's say, Coca-Cola does. This is going to get me in some trouble, but Coca-Cola, I'll say at the front end, I happen to like the taste of Coca-Cola. But what Coca-Cola sells isn't Coca-Cola. Its true value and its perceived value are completely disconnected. In the restaurant, and I'll say why in a second, in the restaurant example we're talking about, where the food is good and it's healthful and people have a good experience eating there, there is alignment between the true value of eating at that restaurant and the perceived value that there is a value there, right? With Coca-Cola, there's a complete divorce between the two. What Coca-Cola is selling is happiness and peace in the world and all kinds of warm, fuzzy feelings and special feelings and all of that stuff. And why is Coca-Cola selling that? Because they need to manipulate people into drinking something that has such high sugar content that if we had the sugar directly into our mouth, we would get nauseous. We would want to throw up. And has such high salt content in order to make us thirsty so that we drink more and more and more of it, so that the more we drink of this high sugar fake food, the higher risk we are at developing diabetes and becoming overweight and all of those things. So the true value of Coca-Cola is illness. The perceived value of Coca-Cola, according to its ad campaigns, is happiness and joy. That is lack of integrity. The restaurant example, the way I described it, is an example of real integrity. It all depends on the motivation.
Yeah, because I see two things when what you are saying. The first one, with the example of the restaurant, you attract the clients, but he has the opportunity to say yes or no after if he doesn't like.
Yes, that's informed consent.
Yeah, and the second thing you are saying that they attract people in respecting their value and because they are doing great things for the clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a huge answer from me. You helped me a lot in things because I was in trouble with that. Yeah, it is manipulation, persuasions. Oh, I don't know.
It's all persuasion. Marketing is about persuasion. But if persuasion is done in a way that informs people so that they can make whatever the right choice is for them, that to me is ethical. And when persuasion is used to manipulate people into making the decision that the person doing the selling wants them to make, regardless of whether it's good for the consumer, that to me is unethical.
So the last question we have to ask is my product, my service or my product is good for my clients? If I am doing things to help them to say yes, is it okay for me? That's right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great answer. I would love to know what is, according to you, energy psychology.
Well, now we're going to really switch gears because energy psychology is a specialty area inside the field of psychology that uses specific, deliberate treatments or interventions with aspects of the human vibrational matrix. The most commonly known portions of the human vibrational matrix that most of the public has heard of are meridians, the series of avenues in our field that acupuncture points are located on. Those are pathways that chi or energy flows. Our chakras as it's often referred to, but it's hard CH in Sanskrit, chakra. Our chakras, which are centers of energy concentration, and our biofield, or the envelope of energy that our physical body is living inside of. And energy psychology uses very specific, direct, explicit interventions with these aspects of our human vibrational matrix in order to help people rapidly and durably remove old baggage and blocks and embed desired beliefs and peak performance. And that's what energy psychology is. It's basically it's a form of psychotherapy that in very methodical, deliberate ways utilizes the energy system to help with the psychotherapeutic process.
And can I use the energy psychology alone?
One of the beauties, one of many advantages of energy psychology is that there are self-help versions of energy psychology.
Yeah.
And for example, I have a self-help version that I have available, but it's far less well known. It's just a CD that people can use, that they can walk themselves through self-treatment using energy psychology methods. But the most popular, well-known self-help version of energy psychology is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And that's just one member of a broad family of methods in the energy psychology family.
So you have your CD, right, with your method?
Yes, it's called Energy Psychology Anywhere because it's meant to be portable.
Yeah. Do you have some things to show me now what I can do, and what the people can do with using that?
Sure. So there are 3 levels that I like to teach people about using energy psychology methods. The first level has to do with systemically just helping them create a basic energy balance in their system. So if you were to right now, let's do something that's actually originally from yoga. Shall I teach you this right now?
Yeah.
So take your left ankle and put it over your right ankle. Take your hands, put them out in front of you with the thumbs down, and cross your right hand over your left and clasp them together. Yeah. And now bring them up to your chest comfortably, in a way that's physically comfortable for you. You don't want to strain your body. And now in this posture, and you can have your feet flat on the floor if you'd like, when you inhale, you bring your tongue to the top of your mouth.
Okay.
And when you exhale, you bring your tongue down to the bottom of your mouth. Okay? So you can inhale or exhale through your nose or your mouth. Just breathe comfortably. But when you're inhaling, tongue goes up here. I'm just showing you with my mouth open, but you don't have to open your mouth.
Okay.
And when you're exhaling, your tongue goes down here behind your lower front teeth. And again, you can do that with your mouth closed. People don't have to see what you're doing. And you sit in this posture for about 2 to 3 minutes. And if you were feeling stressed or agitated and needed to calm down, this is a very helpful exercise for that. It's also helpful for people if they're having difficulty falling asleep, because we can do this posture when we're lying down, and it can help relax our system.
Right.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then let me offer the opposite of that, which would be for building up energy, for becoming more energized.
Yeah.
And this is something that we usually do standing up. Okay. And this is called the cross crawl.
Okay.
And what you do is you take your left hand and put it on your right knee. Yeah. Your right hand, put it on your left knee, just like that. Right. So what we're doing here is we're crossing the middle of our body, which is encouraging the left and right hemispheres to talk to each other in our brain.
Okay.
And we're drawing energy throughout our system as well while we're doing that. Now we can add a little bit more to get your brain working even more fully. If you'll face me and keep doing this. And now what I'll have you do is close your eyes, keep going back and forth. Yeah, that's right. Now open your eyes. Look at my fingers down here. Keep going back and forth. Keep doing that just with your head, not with your just with your eyes, not your head.
Okay.
That's right. Now look down this way. Now follow my fingers just with your eyes. Keep your head stationary. Don't move your head. Just your eyes. That's right. Good. Good. And now back the other way. Yeah. Good. See, it's making you happy, huh?
Yes.
And now count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And hum some notes. And now count to 5 again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. And you can stop now. So check inside and see how you feel right now.
Very good.
Yeah. So that's more energizing. And some people do variations on that, where if they do all those extra steps, they will, instead of I had you count and then hum some notes and then count again, others will have you hum some notes and then count and hum a second time. But there are all different variations on these
Okay,
methods.
it's great.
So that's for balancing our full system. The second level of energy psychology self-help that I like to teach people has to do with when they want to make a change or they want to deal with an issue, but they have objections inside themselves. Sometimes what we want to do, there's something inside us that says, oh no, I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that because it's not safe to make that change, or I don't deserve to make that change, or someone might get hurt, someone might feel hurt if I change, or things like that. So we oftentimes, when, in fact, I would say more than oftentimes, when people, including me, have wanted to make a particular change for a period of time, in contrast to, I just discovered in this moment that I want to make a change. But if they have wanted to make a change for a period of time and they have not made the change yet, I have found that it is always because there is some risk involved in them making the change that they haven't dealt with yet. And until they deal with the risk, until they deal with the objection, they won't have internal permission to make the change. So let's do a couple of energy exercises for clearing away objections to making changes that we want to make. So I'm not going to ask you for the recording to say out loud what you're thinking of, but can you think in your own mind about a change that you want to make that you haven't made yet?
I can speak about it.
Okay,
It's okay for me.
What's that?
I would like to manage better my anger.
You would like to manage your anger better.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you were better at managing your anger, what risks would you be taking?
Wow.
Or what risks do you fear you would be taking, even if maybe you weren't?
Yeah. I have something, I'm not sure. There is a kind of message inside myself that if you are not angry, this thing is not important.
Good. That's a great example. So if I managed my anger better, things might stop being important to me. I might lose my passion. I might lose my desire to help things be different. I need my anger in order to make sure that things change. Is it something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I feel that.
Yeah, I see it on your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So let's try an energy psychology treatment for that, and we'll see right in this moment what impact it produces or doesn't produce for you. So tap the side of your hand to the side of your hand, just at the karate chop point, yeah, and say, even if it's not safe for me to be managing my anger,
Even if it's not safe.
for me to be effectively managing my anger,
For me to be effectively manage
my anger,
my anger,
I deeply and profoundly
I deeply and profoundly
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's try another one. And let's have you tap on the temple, the indentation that's between the bony orbit around your eye and your hairline It's right here in between.
Yeah, I feel
There's
it.
an indentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so start tapping back and forth like this and say, even if I lost some of my passion if I got rid of my anger,
Even if I lost some of my passion,
got rid of my anger,
if I get rid of my anger,
I deeply and profoundly
I deeply and profoundly
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself. Mm.
Now let's do one more. And we're going to do this in a different kind of way than what's usually done. But I'm going to have you tap on a location that's right underneath your collarbone, just out from the notch underneath your neck, on the underside of the collarbone. There's a little indentation, just out from the notch.
Yeah, there?
A little bit further out. Can I find it for you?
Yeah.
So there's the notch, there's your collarbone, and there's that indentation. Okay?
There?
Yeah. So start tapping there, back and forth. And you don't have to tap right on the skin. That's good. And say the following. I'm willing to consider the possibility
I'm willing to consider the possibility
that I can be free of my anger
that can be free of my anger
and still have all of my passion and commitment.
and still have the same passion of commitment and
Yes.
commitment.
Good. Good. Okay, now take a couple of comfortable breaths. You can stop tapping there. And tell me about your objection to being over anger. Tell me whether there's still a risk that if you
Now I feel less this objection. Yeah.
Yes, you feel less objection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you've done there is established internal permission to change your energy system's relationship with anger. And it would be at that point that we would go into the third aspect of what I like to teach people to be able to do with energy treatments, which is to actually treat the issue itself. The first thing we did was that we balanced your system in a global level. The second thing we did was that we established internal permission to make the change that you want to make. And the third thing that we would do would be to actually make the change itself. So we could do that if you'd like, but it would take a little bit of time.
How much?
Oh, 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It will be useful for people.
Okay. So I'm going to take you through a series of points on your body that are acupuncture points that you'll be tapping on.
Okay.
And while you're doing the tapping, you're going to be thinking a thought to yourself that you'll be repeating over and over again. And before we start, we have to come up with that statement that you'll be making to yourself. So it's a statement that simply acknowledges whatever the blockage is that you have around anger. So how would you put that into words? This reluctance to get over being angry, or this desire to be in right relationship with my anger? How would you put your...
It's a kind of goal.
Yeah?
What I want is to be able to change my perception when something happens, and be able to switch very quickly and construct something and build something with what happens. What is very important for me is to develop my ability to build something with everything happened, and maybe something where we were not predicted.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if the card is full,
Mm-hmm.
now, usually I feel anger because I put a lot of money in this project and a lot of energy, and if something happens like that, I have some anger about myself. And my goal is to be able to transform that and an opportunity, and build an opportunity. Not only have good feeling on it's okay, but ability to build something with everything. It's very important for me.
Mm-hmm.
Am I clear?
I think so. Let me say back to you what I think I'm understanding.
Yeah, just to for an short example. Yesterday I was doing video in this room with a background, and the first time the battery of the recorder stopped. The second time I changed the battery, but the battery was low. I have to start it again. The third time it was the camcorder, and the sun was
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Going down.
going down, and I have not a lot of time in United States, so I have a schedule to respect, and I felt a lot of anger, and after 1 or 2 hours I succeeded to transform it and to switch and build maybe the best video of the day, and I was proud of that. And when I build something after a challenge, I love that. Am I clear? It's more important than feeling good. And when I have the ability to build something, yeah, it's great.
So it sounds like what you would like to be able to do is move very quickly from feeling frustrated to creating something good out of being challenged without having to spend much time feeling angry about it.
Yeah, and the ability to thanks what happens and use it.
Yes.
And use it as a source of energy and power to build some things.
What you're describing is one of the key dimensions of integrity intelligence, which is the ability to harvest gifts from unexpected or undesired life experiences.
Yeah.
I call it harvesting for that reason. And so it sounds like what your goal is to develop a different relationship with the energy that comes up inside you, that you're used to calling anger and that you get temporarily stuck in, and instead to have a different relationship with that energy that comes up inside you so that you use it almost immediately for harvesting gifts from the unexpected and unasked for. Am I describing this accurately for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So on a scale of 0 to 10,
Yeah.
how much do you believe in your ability to do that in those moments when you're feeling frustrated and angry? 0 meaning no, you don't trust that at all, and 10 means that you trust it completely.
5 or 6.
A 5 or 6. And of course you would like to feel it like it's a 10,
Yeah.
right? On a scale of 0 to 10.
Yeah.
So 5 or 6 is where we're starting. Okay? And so what you'll be repeating inside yourself is this desire to feel fully confident in my ability, or you could use a different word like this desire to fully trust my ability to harvest gifts quickly when undesired experiences happen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Or something like that in your own words.
Yeah.
Because you'll just be repeating it to yourself while we're treating it. And because French is your first language, I would suggest that you translate this en français and repeat it. Répétez en français. Silently inside yourself. D'accord?
Yes.
Okay?
So I have to repeat my desire about my ability to switch very quickly, right?
That's what we could do, or we could do it the other way around. You see,
Yeah, I can do that.
the other way around would be repeating to yourself this block, this difficulty I have. Part of what makes this difficult to use as a demonstration is because usually when I'm teaching somebody or when I'm teaching energy psychology methods, we remove the blockage first and then we embed the desired state second. But the impression that I have is that you're already ready to embed the desired state, that we don't have to work more on removing the block.
Yeah.
And do you have the same impression?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the sake of the recording, I wanted to explain why I'm doing things a little bit differently from what one normally sees in an energy psychology demonstration. We're doing things a little bit more rapidly than is usual. So I'll show you, on me, I'll show you where to tap on your body. And while you're tapping on your body, you repeat silently to yourself in French that desire statement.
Okay. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Good. Right where the eyebrow and the nose meet. Right there. Yeah. Good. Good. Keep thinking about your desire. Now tapping on the outside edge of your eye. Move out here now. Not where you were tapping before, which is out here, but right on the bone. Right on the outside edge. Good. Repeating to yourself your desire. Now under the middle of your eye, right on the bone again, right on that bone, it's the occipital orbit. It's the orbit that the eye is located inside. Yeah. Good. You repeating the statement? Good. Now underneath the middle of your nose, you'll be tapping the same spot, but with both fingers, one at a time. Good. Repeating the statement to yourself. And underneath your lower lip, right where the chin starts to come out, right in that indentation, just before the chin comes out. Same spot with both fingers. Répétez. Bon. Okay. Now tap on that collarbone spot that you were tapping on earlier. Repeating the statement to yourself. Good. Now, on the side of your body, in between your ribs, there's going to be a sore spot. In between a couple of your ribs, tap there. Repeating the statement to yourself. Now with the open hand, slap on the lower part of your rib cage, touching a couple of different acupoints this way. Good. Now, actually, there are other points we could tap on, but I'm having the feeling that you've already shifted a little bit. So let's check. Take a couple of cleansing breaths. Good. And think about this desired belief and rate it now. Is it still a 5 or a 6, or is it less believable now, or is it more believable now? How would you rate it now?
My desire in this moment is 10. My belief about my confidence in this kind of moment. My first message was 10. I was and the second message was saying me it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's related to my desire.
Yeah. So your first impulse was to say that your belief in your ability to do this is now a 10, but your in English the word would be skepticism,
Yeah.
says that it couldn't be a 10 yet. It has to be lower than a 10 still. Yeah?
Yeah.
So what does your skepticism say it is? If it's not a 10, what is it?
8.
8. Okay. So let's try something very simple right now. Take one hand and with some fingers tap here in the valley between the bones that go up to your these two knuckles. And now inhale fully. Keep tapping. Exhale. And lower your eyes with your head. Keep your head straight toward me and just your eyes looking down. Okay. Now slowly inhale. Good. And exhale. Good. Okay, you can stop tapping. And tell me about your skepticism. Is your skepticism still an 8? I see the look on your face. Is it even easy? Are you even able to think about the issue?
It's weird because I have a skepticism about my skepticism.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you're really good at playing mind games with yourself, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so am I. That's why I see it. There's a saying that says, if you see it, you've got it.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So, since this is just a demonstration,
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much.
you,
It was a bonus in this
you've
scenario.
seen some interesting changes in a very short time. And if this were a true, complete session, then we would have taken about 45 minutes or so to go through the entire process step by step. And I also would have probably done muscle testing with you, kinesiology,
Yeah.
in order to see what your energy system says about the progress that you're making. But in real life, what really tells us how much progress we're making is what happens out in life. So test it, see what happens. If the results that it looks like you're getting in this demonstration hold over time, then that's wonderful. If they don't, it's not because the methods don't work, it's because we didn't do a full and complete treatment. But it's possible we may have done enough so that your energy system will rebalance itself now around your relationship with anger.
Great. Thank you very much. According to you,
I
what
didn't-
could be the life lessons you would like to share to youth?
The first and most important life lesson for me is be teachable. Have a teachable spirit. It's so important to combine your ability to trust what you know in your deepest self with the willingness to be impacted in positive ways by the world around you. Have a teachable spirit. The second is keep your cup full. In other words, do what you need to do in order to have all of your life energy available to you in each moment of each day. Change the way you live your life so that you have a full cup throughout your day. And the third is what we were talking about earlier. Learn to be masterful at harvesting precious, deep gifts from undesired, unacceptable life experiences.
Great. It's great. Thank you very much. So, David, I have a serious question for you. We were talking about happiness, integrity. I'm fed up about that. And do you have some advices, keys, something I can do today, not tomorrow, today, to become unhappy in this life.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So repeat to yourself over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
nothing funny ever happens to me. Nothing funny ever happens to
Nothing.
me. Nothing funny ever happens to me. Just keep repeating that to yourself.
Great. So it's the first step. Do you have something else?
That's all you need.
Okay. Just I have to repeat of myself bad things or only this sentence?
Nothing funny ever happens to me.
Okay.
Just that one statement. Just keep repeating it over and over again. And eventually you'll believe it.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, David. I will try that.